Let's check it out. That is nice.
I can't, the paint by number confuses me.
Wow, this is beautiful wood in here, and these benches. Oh, there's more posters in the back here.
This is the original, yeah.
I guess these were some of the other entrants to the contest. They had a contest for posters. All right. Possible route of De Soto. The French arrived. Marquette. And they claimed the land for France. Called it Louisiana. And then they sold it to the Americans. Here it is, Crowley's Ridge, an ancient geographic feature. People are often surprised to see a hilly ridge, Crowley's Ridge, jutting out from the flat landscape, delta landscape, said to be in the delta, but not of the delta. Crowley's Ridge runs almost continuously from Helena northward 150 miles. Many towns are located along the ridge. High ground has obvious advantages in a flood-prone region. How did it form? Its backbone consists of ancient marine deposits left behind after the Gulf of Mexico receded. Piled deep into the backbone is silt consisting of rock that was crushed by the force of glaciers and brought to the area by raging rivers after the glaciers melted, blown against the budding ridge during enormous prehistoric dust storms. The most violent earthquakes recorded in the U.S. history struck right here in the Delta. New Madrid was the biggie. And then there was several others. So the lands that you see that are fields are actually swamps. And then the lumberman came, lumber scaler. In the end of the 19th century, continued into the first decades of the 20th century, the Delta undergoes a major transformation. Flooded land is cleared, swamp land is drained, land subject to overflow is protected by flood control projects. Lumber companies, often owned by northern businessmen, harvested the Delta's virgin forest of oak, cypress, and timber. Some of the oldest trees are 6 feet or more in diameter. Newly constructed railroads haul the logs to sawmills or to rivers. Loggers take out the largest and best trees, leaving cut over land with little value. Look at the size of those logs on that train. Frontier life. the buttons made from mussels. That was an industry, sort of a cottage industry. Fur trappers. Look at all these coon skins, snake skins, otter skins. Did indeed.
Good. Thank you.
Oh, this is a great railroad museum as well. Tells you about the telegraph. Each train station had a telegraph operator. So the news would come to that in a lot of towns at first when there was some kind of news event. All right, Crowley's Ridge. Here it is right here. Part of it, that's the ridge where I was camping at in. And that's where the St. Francis National Park is. Then there's a little gap right here, and then it continues all the way up to Missouri. And it's kind of unusual structure because this is all flatlands here. Okay, here's the Arkansas River coming all the way from Colorado. And the White River, where's the White River at? Right here. This is the one that has 4 different lakes on it. Starts in Boston Mountains in Arkansas, goes up into Missouri, and comes back down into the Mississippi right here. Just down the river from Helena. Let's see, what's the other river? These are French names. The Cache River, Cache, Black River, I went across that one. And St. Francis River. Don't know what that is. Okay. A heritage of determination. The land of the Arkansas Delta, encompassing all or part of 27 counties and over 15,000 square miles in eastern Arkansas. It's a major part of the larger region, generally known as the Mississippi Delta, which covers portions of 5 states bordering the lower Mississippi River. Lost city of Napoleon, the junction of the Arkansas and Mississippi rivers. What happened to it? It's gone. Pine Bluffs is the most wide-awake progressive towns in the New South. In the 1870s, even more so in the 1880s, delta towns started to grow and prosper. As river navigation improves and the railroads started crisscrossing the region, transportation fuels economic growth. Small town delta merchants benefit from better transportation. Look at this streetcar. A time of progress. Look, there's a Booker T. Washington right there in the middle. Sawmills were among the Delta town's largest employers. Other industrial plants in Delta towns process cotton. Look at the lumber. Is it leaning, or that's just the way the photograph is? What's a compress? A mattress? Stuttgart Machine Shop. Southland College, that's the one that went broke in 1925. It was here in Helena. Mopac, Rock Island, and Cotton Belt. Here's the Missouri Pacific, running out of St. Louis, I believe. See the old spur lines there? This is a Rock Island that's going east to west, kind of where 40 goes. And then the Cotton Belt, southwest to northeast. In 1879, 822 miles. In 1899, 20 years later, there were 3,100 plus. Ooh, look at that wreck. Well, it's a very good museum. Bill hook for clearing brush. Look at those cotton sacks. Here's a cotton bale. And I think they were by weight. They were compressed. I'm thinking 500 pounds. Look at that, baskets. They put them in, dump it in baskets. A bell hook. That's how they picked them up with. And the boll weevil. Wow. Look here, they even got the parts of the plow. The sharecropping era. That was hard scramble. They didn't usually own the houses, they just did it on shares. Landlord gets one bale and the boll gets the other. Sharecropping, that was just another form of slavery. Rich land and poor people. Look at these people, they're probably walking to wherever they need to go. Look at that old-timey hoe. And look at these gangs of people plowing. Tenant farmer union, never heard of that. Mechanical cotton pickers will displace thousands of individuals in the cotton belt, thus creating the most perplexing social and economic problem. In 1945, there were 99,000, average size 78 acres. 1987, 15,000, averaging 530 acres. At the cotton gin. The land of rivers. Old man river, he just keeps rolling along. There's a place, there's Arkansas, in the drainage basin. It's also the land of floods. the meandering river. Here it becomes an oxbow lake. In some places it's very convoluted. Look at this. How do they keep up with the boundaries? As the crow flies 350 miles from Helena to the Gulf of Mexico, length of the lower Mississippi as it meanders from Helena to the Gulf, 650 miles. It's 300 miles further because it meanders. "1927 was a hell of a year. Everywhere got flooded. And these people lost out. Everything got washed away. Look at this right here. McGee. Look at this big bell. This is a trap, fish trap. Oh, look, they got a railroad car. All right, let's go to the steamboat era. Look at this barrel of corn. Steamboat lingo. Steam whistle. Stern wheeler, side wheeler, packet, boat that carried passengers or goods on a regular scheduled route. Cabin passengers, deck passengers. This is the tragedy where the prisoners of war were killed. 1,800 people died. Many were prisoners of war who were on their way home. What a cruel fate. Let's go into the caboose. Look, there's a race there. The great steamboat racing. There's the seats they would sit in so they could watch both ends of the train. And they had their living quarters in here too. Here's the compass. Green barges. One barge. One barge equals 16 rail cars, 7 semi-trucks. Guapa, the downstream people. There it is, De Soto, with the Spanish. The Prairie Schooner. This is a Civil War museum upstairs. These are ponds. You clip. They became worth nothing at the end of the war. Fort Curtis was the fort here. Look at this little model of a cannon. Very well done. Ulysses S. Grant. David Dixon Porter. Benjamin Prentice. Daniel Sickless. And Frederick Solomon. Paraphernalia from the war, Civil War. These are the Confederate generals. There were 7 from this town itself. from this county, Phillips County. Pretty amazing. Okay, they got mural on the protected area. It's a gunboat. The gunboat's USS Tyler. The Tyler initiated naval warfare on the Mississippi when on August 20th, 1861, her guns were turned on Confederate forces in Missouri, thus firing the first naval shot in anger. The ship carried one 32-pounder and 6 8-inch smoothbore guns. The Navy's first hospital ship, the U.S. Red River, would make occasional dockings in Helena. Originally, the ship was a Confederate steamboat, but it was captured at Alley No. 10 in April 1862 by Union forces. The floating hospital carried a medical staff of 30 doctors and had facilities for treatment of 200 casualties. And these are replicas of the uniforms, shirts, coats, and hats. This is the Parrott gun, mortars. This is the case it came in. Battle for the Mississippi. In June 1863, only Vicksburg remained to block complete federal control of the Mississippi River. For a time, the Confederate forces there defend themselves on fortified bluffs that keep them out of reach of naval attack. Union troops under General U.S. Grant encircled the city and conducted a 6-week siege, ultimately captured Vicksburg on July the 4th, 1863. Grant's victory occurs despite Confederate attacks on Union-occupied Helena, intended to divide federal forces. Helena remained an important port and naval base throughout the war. U.S. Navy vessels supply the town and patrol the river. It serves as coal fueling station for the U.S. Navy Western Flotilla. Over 50 Union ships ported at Helena during the Civil War. That's a lot. And this is down at this is one of the cavalry units. City transformed. On July 13th, 1862, Major General Samuel Ryan Curtis, U.S. Army, commander of the Army of the Southwest, took over the city of Helena. Following his success at Pea Ridge, Arkansas, Curtis was ordered on to Little Rock, but lacking the necessary supplies for his Union forces, he turned to Helena. Curtis transformed this bustling agricultural river port of 1,024 white citizens, 527 slaves, into a more than a military post. In a week's time, Helena grew to nearly 18,000 invading fellow troops and roughly 3,600 newly freed men of African descent. General Curtis was the son of Revolutionary War soldier, a graduate of West Point, an officer in the Mexican War. During his civilian life, he was a mayor and U.S. congressman. General Curtis employed his military engineering skills at Helena in the creation of Fort Curtis. And here he is, General Samuel Ryan Curtis. And his Union troops threatened Little Rock, but after encountering Major Thomas Helena, they changed their course. In need of supplies and a secure base of operations, they head for the Mississippi River. On July 12, 1862, General Curtis invades the river city with 18,000 troops and takes Helena. After Helena falls into Union hands, Confederate strategists focus on retaking the city. Doing so will remove an important federal stronghold in Arkansas. Both sides realized it as an important key to controlling the Mississippi River. The Battle of Helena. This is a Springfield musket. And these are some of the bullets fired by the different rifles. The prologue. The battle in Helena seems inevitable, and nearly 1 year after Union forces claimed the city, Confederate troops waged a battle on July 4, 1863. However, the Confederate plan is complicated by several factors. Seems like my voice is giving out. In 1863, Confederate General Theophilus Holmes, a North Carolinian, has been appointed commander of the Confederate Army in Arkansas. He wasn't up to the task. You are here. There's Fort Curtis right here, which is the downtown now. At the same time that Grant was taking Vicksburg, they were attacking Helena. However, they were repelled by the Union forces and Union Navy.